Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights. In this session, we are going to discuss how to use UDF in the Snowflake and the Snowpark. So we will go ahead and create a Python UDF in the Snow site first. Then we will see how to use the Python UDF in the Snowpark as the standalone version. Then the last point that we will see is to create an inline UDF and register that particular UDF in the Snowflake. And with the help of Snowpark capabilities, we will go ahead and call that particular UDF in the Snow site directly. So let's get started with the practical session. So in this, I will be creating a UDF which is named as mass CC number, and I will be using this mass CC number, register it in the Snowflake directly in the SQL worksheet first. So let me go ahead and show you what this mass CC number will do. So we have a table here called Snowflake sample data with this TPCH and a customer table. So let me query this particular table in which we will have the customer key, customer name, address, the national key, the phone number, account balance, and the other details. So let's say your organization is PII compliant, and due to some reason they don't want to disclose the phone number to the user who are actually querying this particular table. So we have to mask this phone number and we have to only display the last four digits of the phone number. So for that, we have to create a UDF so that it masks this particular phone number, and whenever we are querying this particular table, it will not go ahead and show us the particular rest. So for masking the phone number, we have created this particular function. I'll just give you a brief what this particular function does. This is not an intent of this particular session, what this function does, but still I will tell you how exactly it is being written. Okay. So here we will be taking three parameters first. One is the argument of the string, that will be the phone number. Then how many digits we want to keep, that is 4. And using what character you want to mask that particular string, that is the string. So I have taken that particular phone number as CC string, and I will be replacing this hyphen with a space first. If the particular total is actually less than the digits to keep, then we will say not enough numbers and we cannot add it. We have to add 10 or more numbers to get the phone. And if it is less than that, then we will go ahead and get how much digit we want to mask. And using the help of the regex operation, this RE is a module that the Python provides so that you can go ahead and replace or regex those characters that you don't need. So with the help of that, I will be replacing the other characters with asterisk, and then I will be returning the value of the CC number as CC string. So this is what the particular UDF function does. Particular function in the Snow site using the SQL worksheet, we have the syntax as create or replace function. We have to give the function name that will be displayed in the Snowflake itself, and we have to pass the argument and the data type of it. So we have the function name as mass phone number with the string as the varchar, and the digits to keep is the integer and the mass string as the string. Then what type of data type it will return from this particular function, that is the string. So we have to mention what data type is there, that is returns the string, and in which language this particular function will be defined, that we are using the Python. You can also use JavaScript, you can use Java, or you can also use SQL here. And right now I'm using Python, so I have to mention what runtime version I will be using. So I will be using a 3.8 runtime version. In this case, I will be importing a package called regex because I'm using this import RE. So for that, I have to import the package regex, and the handler name I have to mention. This handler name is the starting or the main point that it will go ahead and hit to get the function name. So this handler name is the mass CC number. So I will be starting my particular function definition from this mass CC number. If I have written any other function name here, let's say the function as main, then I have to mention the handler as main because that will be my starting point to go ahead and run the function. So in this particular function, this is the same function that I went ahead and did a copy from this particular that I explained to you and in the SQL worksheet. Okay. So the return type is the mass.cc string. You have to make sure that you are putting it inside the dollar symbol and ending it with the dollar symbol to go ahead and create this particular mass phone number. So let me go ahead and execute this particular statement. It says the function mass phone number is successfully created. So if I want to go ahead and see whether it is actually masking the particular phone number with the asterisk, then let me go ahead and run the select statement. I'm using the particular UDF itself with the string as the phone number. I will be masking any characters which is more than 4. Okay, only 4 digits will be displayed. So in this case, you will only see 9652. You will not see the rest of it. Rest of it will be replaced by asterisk. So let me go ahead and run this particular query. You see the hyphen is replaced by space and only 4 characters is displayed and others are with asterisk now. So this is the first way how you can go ahead and do it inside the Snow site. This is the most easiest way and an ad hoc way also to go ahead and create your function. If you want to see whether this mass phone number is actually present or not, you can go to your functions inside your schema and you would see this mass phone number is created with the particular definition of it. So let's go ahead and see the method number 2, that is using the Snowpark and using the Python file. So this particular Python file, I am saving it into my internal stage. So let me list down my internal stage here. Here you see this Python file is displayed that I have saved. Using this Python file, I will be going ahead and creating that particular function itself. So before we go ahead and create the function, we have to import the modules. We have to set up the configuration using the config.ini and using the connection parameter. I'm setting up the session with the help of the session.builder. If you want to know how to go ahead and create a session, please watch my previous video in which I have explained you how to create a session using those connection parameters. I have pinned it in the I button as well. Once you have the connection parameters and the session ready, then you need to import the package that is regex. So I will be using the session itself. With the help of the add package, I will be importing the regex. This particular table is having the customer phone number. So I'm just creating a data frame out of it and I will just go ahead and show it. So this is not a necessary step in this particular demo, but in real time, you might need to go ahead and use that UDF in this particular data frame and create a new data frame and save it back to a table so that your users can go ahead and query that particular table or the view that you created on the top of this particular data. Once you have these packages ready and this data frame, then you can go ahead and create the UDF. In this particular method, that is method number 2, we will go ahead and use the register from file, okay? Because this mass UDF is already registered in the internal stage. So I have this file in my internal stage. You can also use your local system and you can use that local path in order to read this particular file. Using this register from file, which is present in the UDF module, I will be passing the file path. The file path is in the my stage with the UDF file. The function that I want to access is the mass.cc number. So if I go back here, I want to access this particular function. So therefore, I'm mentioning which function I want to access from this particular py file. Once it is done, I actually want to make this particular UDF as permanent so that anyone can go ahead and using the SQL worksheet can query this particular UDF without thinking of what exactly Snowpark did or what particular Python function is written in this particular UDF. We can also replace this particular UDF. So I have mentioned it as replace true. If you really want to replace it, then you can make it true or just make it false if you don't replace it. And the name of the function that I will be registering in the Snowpark or Snowflake is the mask phone number 1. Okay, so using this particular function name, I can query it inside the SQL worksheet. And I have to mention the stage location, because if I'm making it as a permanent, I have to mention in which stage location this particular UDF file will be saved and made it as permanent. Then we have the return type. The return type of this particular function is actually a string. So I am mentioning here it is a string type. What is the input type? I have to mention the input here is actually the first one is the string, second is the integer, and the third is the string again. So I have mentioned it as a string type, integer type, and string type. So this is my UDF function that I have saved it in a variable, but you can later use it as well. Let me go ahead and run this particular function. So now you see I have my function definition mask phone number 1 inside my Snowpark demo here. So I can use this mask phone number 1 to go ahead and query it inside my SQL worksheet. So let me go ahead and query this. This is the mask phone number 1, and let's see whether it gives me the out. So you see now it has given me the same output as we did it in the SQL worksheet with this particular mask phone number function. We have a third method that we can go ahead and use, in which we will go ahead and use the internal inline query. So in the method 3, instead of creating a function file as py, we will be declaring that particular Python function inside this particular file itself. So this is my function that we have in the Python file. I will be just doing a copy and I will be pasting it inside the main. Once I have it, I will be using the register method instead of register from file. And I will be mentioning the function name that I want to register. That is this mask CC number. And I will be declaring whether the function needs to be permanent or not, and the replace is true or not. What is the function name that we want to register it with? That is the mask phone number 2. And which stage location we have to go ahead and save this particular function. What is the return type and input types? All of them are same, except instead of register from file, you have to use register. What is the function name? You have to define that function name instead of the path of the file. So once you have this, you can go ahead and run this particular file, and you will see that a mask phone number 2 will be registered now. Once you see the mask phone number 2, you can also query this particular mask phone number 2 inside your SQL worksheet. So now it is executed. Let me go back to my Snowpark, and here my mask phone number 2 is present with my function definition with all these 3 arguments. Let me go ahead and query this mask phone number 2 now instead of mask phone number 1. So I see the same result that I have it before. So it has executed it successfully. So the next method that we will have is using the inline query. So to do an inline UDF, you have to use a decorator, which is at UDF. Similarly, at UDF, if you are using a stored procedure, you can use the add stored procedure here and give all the arguments that is needed for that stored procedure also. We will go ahead and discuss the stored procedure in the later stage, but right now let's concentrate on the UDF portion. In the UDF, you have to mention what is the name. I'm keeping the name as same. I will be mentioning all these arguments itself, which is actually the same as the one that we just saw in the above script. That is this particular thing, right? So all this will remain the same. So I just did a copy and pasted it here to get the UDF as the inline. And this particular function, I'm declaring it after making it as a UDF inline here inside the main file itself. Let me rerun this particular UDF file again, and it will create the same particular function, that is mask phone number 2, and it will show us the result. So it has recreated this particular thing. If you go ahead and refresh, it will show you that it has recreated the function 2 with the function definition and all. You want to select this particular thing and see if the result comes up. It is the same result that it has shown me before. But let's say I want to run this mask phone number inside in my actually the customer table. Here I have hard coded the values instead of that. We can also use the particular column name that on which we want to mask the particular data. So I have this table that I showed you before, and in this I have a C4 number that I want to mask. So I will be wrapping it up with the UDF that I made it as permanent, and will be going ahead and making it as 4. That is, only 4 characters will be visible, the rest will not be visible with the asterisk here. So all the mask values will be with the help of the asterisk now. So let me go ahead and run this particular statement, and let's see. So here only 4 digits are mentioned, 2988, and the rest of the values are actually replaced with asterisk, and the hyphen is replaced with the space. So in this way, you can actually use a UDF in the table and mask any kind of data which you don't want to display it to the user. So with the help of this example, you can create any complex UDF, any machine learning model, and you can use that inside the Snowflake directly. Once you have the Snowflake UDF that is registered inside your Snowflake permanently, then you can use that particular UDF directly inside the SQL worksheet. So that's all I had for today. So let's conclude this session. In the next video, we will see how to go ahead and create the procedure. If you like my video, then hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.